and it's doing it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're up. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Radio, we're there. Right. So let's press record. And we're off. Right, folks, welcome back to another WP-Tonic video workshop. I've got myself and I've got my colleague Haroon. We've been struggling with some technical problems. This is the third time we've scheduled this. I think with Haroon's assistance, we have overcome technical hurdles which others would give up on, but we don't at WP-Tonic and our tribe. So Haroon, we're going to be talking about comparing Fluent CRM and maybe Groundhogg with a new player in the town that's stirring things up. It's WooFunnels, or they've got another name as well. It's all
Autonami.
Autonami, that's it. It's all extremely confusing. Sorry.
Autonami.
Autonami.
Yes.
Autonami, folks. It's all extremely confusing, as it normally is with WordPress. We're here, Haroon's here to try and clear things up a bit, to demystify to some extent, if it's possible. So first of all, Haroon, would you like to introduce yourself quickly to the new listeners and viewers?
Certainly. Thank you, Jonathan, for having me. As always, it's a pleasure to be on this series. And hi, everyone. I'm Haroon from Happy Cloud, which is a fully managed cloud services business focused on WordPress primarily and CRM and marketing automation. And I also consult for WP-Tonic as their marketing automation and CRM related services consultant. And I've been working in the tech industry for over 2 decades, and with WordPress in particular for around the past 14 years. And as of late, I've specialized in CRM, marketing automation, and not just marketing automation, but process automation in WordPress in general, and integrations between the different tools that we use in the WordPress ecosystem. And part of that is a stack that we often see, which is an e-learning solution and an e-commerce solution that need to speak with each other while speaking with the CRM, while working with funnel systems. So that's why we are discussing the tools that we will be covering today.
That's great. And like I say, Haroon's our marketing automation guru at WP-Tonic, and he works with a couple of my other key staff members, trying to persuade people, which is rather easy, to see the light and come back to WordPress. So Haroon, we got a new player on the playground. What would you say are some of its strengths compared to what you've seen compared to Fluent CRM and maybe Groundhogg?
We've actually covered this in quite some detail in one of our previous sessions. So do you want me to go through that again, or shall we just
a quick recap, and then we go into the main meat of this workshop?
All right. So while Groundhogg is focused on CRM and marketing automation with a better funnel building, with better automation building engine. So what Groundhogg calls funnels are not funnels in marketing speak as much as they are in automation speak. They are automation workflows, And because in WordPress, generally, when we say funnels, we are referring to a landing page followed by an upsell page and that sort of experience. But in Groundhogg, a funnel is like an automation flow, and landing page is not part of the Groundhogg funnel. Then there's FluentCRM, which is also a pretty good product by a pretty promising team. They've got some excellent plugins in addition to this, the first and foremost being Fluent Forms. And their automation system is less linear, more of a think ActiveCampaign, think Infusionsoft. So branching funnels with the conditional statements everywhere. Groundhogg allows you to do conditionals as well, but still in a more linear visual flow rather than a flow chart kind of flow. While Autonami, it sort of aims to strike a balance between the two, but its current stable version isn't quite there yet, as we're going to see. But then I'm going to discuss their upcoming version that their founder recently shared plans with me for improving it based on our previous sessions, based on the feedback he got from us in our previous sessions. So I think to better demonstrate what I'm talking about, we're going to share our screen and take you through a spin.
Yeah, I'll give you permission. But before that, folks, I don't know if Haroon is part of Chris Lemmer's newsletter list. I don't know if you get Chris Lemmer's news list. But he did yesterday, or today's, I think it was yesterday's, he sends out a daily one. He covered exactly what we're talking about. He must have been watching our previous attempts, Haroon, because he's done a review of the 3 that we are talking about. So I found that quite interesting, and he goes through what some of the things he would like to be seen, that all 3 of these CRM platforms could do to improve their integration with LearnDash, which he is the head of now. So I've just given you permission, Haroon, to share your screen. So maybe you want to share some screens with me and the audience.
Certainly. I'm in fact looking at Chris Lemmer's post right now, which I'll read later after this session. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and let's proceed with taking a small tour of these systems. All right. So I've got a test site with a few plugins installed. Before we proceed, let me show you what I have installed right now. So I've got Autonami Marketing Automations for WordPress. This is the plugin as it is available on the WordPress repository, the free version. And then I've got the Autonami Marketing Automations Pro. By the way, if you just search for Autonami, you won't find any Autonami website. The website you'll find is buildwoofunnels.com.
This is
all their product.
I really think they need somebody that understands marketing a little bit better, don't they? But I think they're a very young, very excellent development team, and I think they're wondering what direction they should go themselves to some extent, which is great, because I think they could build something really fantastic. But they seem to be in a flux, and it shows in their marketing, doesn't it?
I agree. Because this particular tool should be marketed as a standalone tool rather than giving the impression that it is like only a subset or an add-on for WooFunnels, because it can work independently of WooFunnels. You don't need WooFunnels to use Autonami, and it has so much potential as a standalone tool that I think they are underrepresenting it by making it seem like a subset or like a small add-on to WooFunnels itself. But yes, getting back to the list. So then I've got Fluent Forms, which is by the same developers as Fluent CRM, and I've got Fluent CRM and Fluent CRM Pro, and Fluent SMTP is something that we were to discuss setting up. And on that subject, we're also gonna set up the SMTP integration for Autonami. But I think that would extend the scope of today's session, which is a comparison between their funnel builders. So instead of covering the SMTP integration in this session, that's something that we're gonna probably cover for both of them in the next one. So I've got LearnDash, and then these two are just my hosting setup related plugins. You can ignore them. So this is the stack that we've got to compare. And I've installed LearnDash to be able to show you some of the automations that are possible through LearnDash in these tools using LearnDash. So now if we come to Fluent CRM, and let's open its dashboard. I'm going to close these other tabs. We've got a reporting sort of a view by default. And over here, we've got campaigns, which are like email blasts. And then we've got email sequences, which are like newsletters. And then we've got automations. So automations is the core tool that we are going to be discussing and comparing today. So over here, if we create a new automation, we first have to select the trigger for this automation. And since we have LearnDash installed, we can use LearnDash based triggers. So for example, we can start the trigger, the automation with a trigger that someone enrolls in a course or completes a course or completes a lesson, completes a topic, or enrolls in a group. CRM based triggers are things like list applied, list removed, tag applied, tag removed, or a Fluent form submission, because Fluent Forms is also installed over here. And then there are general WordPress triggers like a user signs up or a user logs in. So CRM context and users, WordPress users, they're different. A WordPress user is anyone who has a WordPress user account with which they can log into the site. It could be someone who has purchased something using WooCommerce and they have like a customer account. It could be a subscriber account. It could be an admin, an editor, or any other custom role. But a CRM contact doesn't have to be a WordPress user, but every WordPress user will have an associated CRM contact. So let's open the automation by, let's say, starting off with someone enrolls in a course. Continue. We have to set a label. So let's say course and enrollees. And here we can select what should be the subscription status for the automation to trigger. They could be set in the CRM as subscribed, pending, or unsubscribed. Generally, you don't want to send emails to unsubscribed people or pending ones who have yet to subscribe. So leaving this default makes sense. And here we've got some conditions. So as you can see, this at this very start, things get to be a bit overwhelming for a newbie. It's like way too many options, way too many sort of decisions to make at the very start, which gives you decision fatigue. That's what I don't like about Fluent CRM's automation builder. If contact already exists, should we update it or skip the automation? So these are all valuable options, but it's way too much to decide. But over here, for target courses, we have to select a course. Let me see, what did I name the test course that I added? LearnDash courses. Oh, I didn't add any test course. Well, let's just add a test course. Let's just publish it and see if we can use it now. Or if we have to reload this, maybe we'll have to reload. Let's save the settings and reload. Now I should be able to select the course, yes. And we can decide whether to restart the automation multiple times for a contact in case someone is in the funnel or someone has gone through the automation. Do you want them to go through it again in case they fulfill the initial condition again or not? Let's just leave it as it is. And this is the start of the funnel building experience in FluentCRM. Now, this is the trigger. And over here, we can add what to do next. It could be an action, like a delay or apply a tag or apply a list, remove from a list, remove from a tag, update any of the properties, any of the fields for that contact, use a webhook for any outgoing integration. For example, push an event to your webinar platform, maybe add notes to that contact or end this funnel for that contact at this particular stage. And then there are emails, like send them a custom email, send them a sequence of emails, cancel a sequence of email that they might be in, send them an email from the campaigns that you've built, or cancel any automations for them. And then there are WordPress actions, like create a WordPress user for them, update their WordPress user meta, change their WordPress user role. Apart from actions, we can have certain goals over here, in which case we will wait, the contact will wait till a particular goal is reached before proceeding to the next steps. So let's say someone enrolls in a funnel, then someone enrolls in a course, then we want to wait till they have achieved a certain goal, like they've clicked a particular link in a particular lesson, and then we want to do something. So in that case, we're going to add a goal over here, link click. This is a very useful feature of FluentCRM that Groundhogg doesn't have. Groundhogg doesn't let you wait till certain goals are reached in this way. It lets you wait till a particular benchmark is met, but not in a bit of a different way. But yeah, actually to some extent, this is similar to having subsequent benchmarks in a Groundhogg funnel. My bad. Actually, yes, this is exactly that. What's different from Groundhogg is these conditionals, not the goals. The conditionals are different from Groundhogg. In Groundhogg, you apply a conditional to a step in the funnel. In FluentCRM, you add conditional to the flow of a funnel. Let me demonstrate that. So over here, let's say we select this particular conditional. Check if the contact is in a particular group. And we don't have any groups. Actually, wait, because we don't have any groups and I'll have to go and set groups. Let me use some other conditional. Has user role. Let's just use that for now. Let's say if the contact who has enrolled in the course has the user role of subscriber, then we want to do one thing. Let's save this. So this is a test over here. Someone enrolls in a course, then we check whether the user has a specific role, whether they have a role subscriber. In that case, we can perform a particular action like apply tag. And this could be like influencer, save settings. And in case they don't meet that condition, this no condition would be met, and we can, in that case, let's say, apply some other tag to them. Instead of influencer, we might want to apply a new tag called student. So over here, you see, someone enrolls in a course, we check if they have a user role. If they have that role, we apply tag influencer. If they don't have that role, we apply tag student, and then we can send these people a particular chain of emails and these people a different chain of emails. You get the drift. And at the end, we might want to add and this funnel here. So this is a very basic sort of conditional flowchart based automation system. But as you can see, if you keep on adding more and more conditionals at different steps, this can become like a Frankenstein nightmare very, very soon. Just like if you've worked with active campaigns funnels, you might have seen some of those automations are those Frankenstein nightmares. I think I do need to install Groundhogg to be able to show the proper comparison between all three, because we've seen this with FluentCRM. Now I'd like to show the same with Groundhogg. So let me quickly install Groundhogg. Let's go to plugins, add new. Because I think a fair comparison of WordPress CRM and marketing automation systems has to have Groundhogg in the list of tools that we're comparing. And lastly, we're going to see Autonami. And I'll have to download Groundhogg's integration for LearnDash. So Groundhogg requires you to go through a sort of a bit of a guided setup. I'm going to fill in the necessary ones. Well, actually, most of these fields are necessary, but I'm just going to go with the minimal ones. Privacy policy. Let's see if we have a page for that. If not, we can just skip it for now. GDPR, we don't really need to worry about that yet. Next. And skip this for now. This email integration setup, let's skip that. Let's skip this. Skip this. And finish. And I need to download their LearnDash integration, which I'm doing in another window right now, and their Pro version. Actually, I'm just going to download their extension manager, and that's going to handle the rest. So let's go to plugins, add new. So they have a helper plugin that you can install and then manage your extensions. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to take this tab out of view while I activate this plugin and enter the license key.
Might be wise. He's not so fussy when it's using my agency keys, folks. He doesn't.
I am.
He doesn't care. Then he doesn't care, folks. Anybody can watch it. Right.
I'm always super careful about that.
Yeah, sure, Harold. Yeah.
All right. So I'm almost done. set my license key, activate. And almost done. All right, so let's bring this tab back in view. And here we've got Groundhogg as well. And now we go to extensions and we can install LearnDash. So let's come to, we probably also need to install advanced features. It's a bit broken. Let's see. Yeah, why is this happening? Advanced features. Okay, let's install and activate this. And we'll be good. Oh, and conditional funnel logic. Yes.
See, this is one of the problems I have with Groundhogg, with some other problems. All these additional add-ons that you got to upload and add to it, which is fine for you and me, but I think it's a little bit confusing myself. But that's my opinion. So
there's one benefit of this as well. It is a bit of a hassle, I completely agree. But one benefit is if, let's say, they update a new version of their affiliate WP integration and that has a bug, and you're not even using affiliate WP, you don't have it installed, you're safe. Only those who have that installed are going to be affected. But if they have only one pro version that includes all of these pro extensions, then any bug in any of these integrations that you may or may not be using is going to affect your site as well, probably. So yeah, that's one major benefit. But yes, it is a bit of an initial setup hassle.
I suppose I'm in the middle. What I mean really is, yes, I totally agree when it's a plugin that's adding sub functionality like to work with affiliate WP, but you just had to upload 2 plugins that actually add functionality to the core of the plugin. I'm not following that myself, but that's just my opinion, right?
I agree. So let's activate it. So one of those 2, it acts as the pro version essentially, basically, the helper plugin. Like we had to install and activate the pro version of Autonami and the pro version of FluentCRM. So the Groundhogg helper plugin acts as that. And then any other ones you don't have to upload manually, you can upload through the helper plugin. So at least we've got that, but yes, it is a bit of a hassle initially. So now we're in the funnel section. What FluentCRM calls automations, Groundhogg calls funnels. And they've got a few templates. So when we click add new, this is one of my quirks with this. In WordPress, we're used to just getting a blank canvas when we click add new. But in Groundhogg, you first have to click add new and it just keeps you on this page. It doesn't start a new one automatically. You have to select this start from scratch template or any of these templates to just start a blank canvas. Instead, this add new should open a blank canvas funnel automatically. So, but let's just click start from scratch, start building that one. And this is the Groundhogg funnel builder. Now, it is completely different from, in fact, let me keep the other one open in another tab so that we have a parallel comparison. Let's go to that automation in FluentCRM and let's open this one. Yeah, so over here, you've got a flowchart and you click on any step to expand all of its editing, like editable components. In Groundhogg, you have this flow, this funnel-like flow on the left, where the blue cards are the triggers and the green cards are the actions that are going to be performed when this trigger is met. Let's get rid of both these triggers. Let's call this course enrollees. And let's add a step. So we're going to add a trigger that's based on learn dash. Yeah, learn dash action. So for learn dash triggers, they've got these benchmarks, they've got this learn dash action. It should be called learn dash benchmark rather than learn dash action. What is this?
Yeah, I think this is getting to the crux here. You know, what does bloody benchmarks mean? You know, who knows?
Yeah,
it means something to me, and it means something to you. But the linear, I actually like the linear approach. What I don't like you like linear approach. What I don't like is the actual interface of it. It needed major surgery in my mind, but I don't know what you feel about it.
Yes, it doesn't feel as polished as FluentCRM does. It feels way more polished. But you should have, I mean, I'm sure you have seen the initial version of Groundhogg. That was far less polished than this even. They are making progress in that direction. With 3.0, they've got good plans to overhaul the interface. But coming to the functionality, so benchmarks are essentially triggers and actions are just actions. So over here, we've got a benchmark based on a learn dash action. What action happens when this will get triggered is defined here. So let's select course enrolled. And then we select this marketing automation for beginners course. This is same as this particular one, course enrolled, someone enrolls in this marketing automation for beginners course. Okay, for some reason it got duplicated. Let's get rid of the duplicate. Let's save the funnel. Okay, course enrolled, marketing automation for beginners. And then we can add a step that is an action now. So you can add benchmarks and actions from this interface, which is not polished at all. This can be so much better. It's confusing. It's not intuitive at all.
This is the main area that I have problems with it. This particular bit that you're showing. To me, it's really rough. It's really rough.
I completely agree. But it works. But yeah, it is rough. So over here, we can select the action of applying a tag. And let's say we want to apply a tag of influencer. Sorry. So you have to type and then wait for any existing results to be loaded. And at times it bugs out. It's not loading results and it's not letting me add this tag. Oh, there was a bit of a delay. So over here, if no result is found and you click it, then a new tag is going to be created. And then we add the same step, apply tag. I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. And we call this student, let's say. We want to do the same thing that we've done over here, essentially. Someone enrolls in a course, we check whether they have a user role. If they have it, we tag them as influencer. If they don't have it, we tag them as student. And these are just arbitrary. This doesn't make sense. Like there'd always be a student, no matter whether they have a particular user role or not. If they're in a course, they're going to be a student. But hey, we're just showing the logic, the workflow, rather than the actual logic of a funnel. So how this would work as conditional logic is you enable this conditional logic bit over here on this action. So they're both identical at this stage. We apply tag influencer and we apply tag student, but how do we decide which to apply for whom? Over here, we can set these conditions once we have enabled conditional logic. And we are going to select contact because user role is user role is part of WordPress user meta. And wait, or would it be contact info? No, it won't be this contact info. It has to be meta. Actually, let's see, role, no. Oh, actually, yes, tags, because whenever someone gets a particular user role in WordPress, Groundhogg automatically adds the same role as tag to them. So if someone has the user role of subscriber in WordPress, Groundhogg is gonna automatically add the subscriber tag to them. So yes, we can use this conditional that if someone has the tag of subscriber, then apply the tag influencer to them. And in the second condition, in the second step, we're gonna enable conditional logic again, do the same thing as soon as the conditional logic interface shows up. We select the tag subscriber. But in this case, we want to run if the contact passes none of these conditions. So if the contact does not pass this condition of having the tag of subscriber, then this particular step would be executed, and we save it. So we have implemented the same flow, but we have done it linearly. If a particular condition is met, this step would be executed. If that condition is not met, this step would be executed.
So my observation of this, and I've been thinking about this, is actually I definitely don't like this bit, right? I never have, never will, right?
Yes.
My mind, I think in some ways, but I think what we've seen, obviously we're going to look at the third one in a second, but just to recap, I just want to see if you agree with me. I actually think for small automizations, what we've seen in FluentCRM is more intuitive. But the reason why I still favor the Groundhogg way of doing it is when you've seen, there seems to be a switch, a level where you're using the kind of Fluent CRM interface, which is very similar to ActiveCampaign. There's a certain switch, a certain level of complexity, which you try and do with ActiveCampaign, and you just end up with a mess. You just end up with something that is you, the creator of it. If you log in like 2 weeks later, you have no idea of what you've done. And then you
just want to pull your hair out.
You literally have to spend an hour working out what you did. I don't know, is it that you don't annotate it enough, or you're trying to do too much in one ActiveCampaign flow, and you should break it down into different parts? Would you agree? And B, is what something I've just stated more about using something like ActiveCampaign and FluentCRM in the wrong way?
It's a bit of both. So if you have this sort of interface, if an end user is or a not too savvy marketing automation implementer is given this sort of an interface, it's easy to get excited that, oh, I'm gonna make a funnel that accounts for every possible condition, and I'm gonna, fine tune very, very, sort of pinpointed targeting fine-tune a pinpointed targeted implementation, and then you get carried away. So if you don't know how to restrain yourself, this sort of interface sort of encourages you to not restrain yourself, and then you can build a Frankenstein funnel.
Because the key to this is keep it simple.
Yes, exactly. And a funnel is supposed to be like, you start with the larger pool, you make it more refined, and you end up with a small pool that converts, that pays you. And then you don't keep on trying to, like, you do reach out to that initial larger pool a reasonable number of times, but you don't get on their case in like 50 different ways till they convert. You focus on those who are converting, and then you move them on to the next step. And with this, it's easy to get carried away. And secondly,
I've had many clients with great pride, normally from scientific engineering backgrounds, show me their active campaign marketing automatizations with great pride to me, Haroon. With you could tell in their voice. And then they are just freakish shows of complexity. And when I ask them some questions, they cannot ask. They can't tell me how their own systems, which they've set up, work. So let's just finish off. Let's go on to the new player. Can we have a look at what they're up to, what they've done?
Before I do that, I'm going to add something. So I've got this gigantic monitor, and I'm going to just view across this monitor now, like, and it hasn't ended. It ends over there. And I've had funnels that I've maximized on this gigantic 49-inch super ultra wide monitor, and I haven't been able to fit the width of the funnel on this giant monitor. I had to side scroll and scroll up and down and side scroll to do that. Previously, I was using a 65-inch 4K TV set as a monitor, and there were funnels that I couldn't fit, fully zoomed out, I couldn't fit on that. It was crazy. An active campaign.
They show them to you with great pride, don't they?
Oh, yes.
And you've got to be so tactful, because they get they can get hurt their feelings, and you don't want to hurt their feelings because they're paying you. But it's just bad.
So let's move on.
It's just bonkers, isn't it?
Certainly. And before I do that, one more thing over here in the flow. So what I really like about Groundhogg is the way you can then, like, let's say, wait till, let's say, a tag is applied. So you build a linear funnel, you have a user do a particular action, and then you send them a few emails or apply a few tags to them. And then in a very linear way, when a particular condition is met afterwards, you can add the subsequent set of actions. Like, they enrolled in a course, we apply a tag, maybe we send a few emails, and then when a particular tag is applied, which might be when they purchase another product, that tag might be applied. Then send a separate series of emails. So it's like very intuitive once you get the hang of it. And you can have like 50-step funnel, and you can reach each step with just a little bit of vertical scrolling and clicking on the step. You see all of its details. It's not like a gigantic flow chart that you have to navigate. Now let's come to the third player, Autonami. And let me open it in a new tab and keep this open over here. So in Autonami, we've got a lot of the same things like contacts, broadcasts, email templates, forms, link triggers. But what we are going to discuss today are automations.
I like the little message. Hi, Haroon. It's a great day to do some. I do like
that. This is what I was talking about. I mean, you open Groundhogg, let's do that. You open Groundhogg's homepage and you open Fluent's homepage and you compare it with Autonami's homepage. Let's do that. So this is Groundhogg's welcome page. It's like nothing impressive. It's just like a bit like the native WordPress dashboard in ways, but hey, I mean, it's nothing to write home about. It's all right, but it's not great.
Well,
This
it's all
one,
right.
it feels
It's all right if you this was your version 0.1,
yes,
and you just but this is a plugin
yes,
that's in its third, fourth year.
yes.
No,
Yeah.
sorry.
So, but when you compare that with Fluent CRM, you're like, oh, nice. This is more like it. I mean, it feels more polished.
It's a bit polished, but
yes, but not quite there yet either.
But
But when you come here, you're like, okay, if we hide this WordPress bar, it feels like, you know, some modern SaaS platform that has been very well thought out, and that's got like some investors behind it. So they've hired good UX people, they've hired good designers. It feels happy to be greeted by this screen. It feels polished, it feels refined, it feels friendly, it feels inviting. It doesn't feel like like something too much like, you know, a tool for the techies. This feels like a tool for the users. Yet it provides you with the right sort of information. And like kudos to these guys for a friendly UX. And let's just bring this back and go to automations. Although the UX of this top menu bar isn't that great, I mean, this could be better organized, but hey, it's still a step in the right direction. Now let's add a new automation. What I don't like about both Fluent CRM and Autonami, Fluent CRM asked way too much information at the start when adding a new automation, and Autonami is asking just for a name. Let's just call it course enrollees add. And as the first step, we select when does it start. We select the initial trigger. So there are Autonami triggers like tag is added, tag is removed, list is added, list is removed, link is clicked, contact subscribes, contact unsubscribes, webhook. Then there are WordPress triggers, user creation, user login. These are the same that we saw in Fluent. And then there are LMS triggers based on LearnDash. User enrolls in a course, is removed from a course, completes a lesson. So this has more fine-grained control. Groundhogg also has those lesson-based triggers, I think. Yes, course enrolled.
Yeah, one thing. I don't know if this is technically possible, but one thing that all three of these really want to clock on is if it can sense that LearnDash has been installed or Lifter LMS. And Lifter LMS is my preferred solution, really. If it can sense that Lifter LMS or LearnDash are installed, do you think it would supply recipes? I call them recipes.
Yeah.
You know, so, and give you a little description and then give you a kind of template of steps, and then you can customize them. But none of them have seemed to have cottoned on to that, have they?
That is something that is on their roadmap. I know it's on Groundhogg's roadmap, and I know it's on Fluent CRM's roadmap. I'm not sure to what extent Autonami is considering it, but yes, both of them have it on their roadmaps. Let's see when they implement it, and they're even considering letting at least trusted users build recipes that they can share, and that those, like, you can create a funnel and you can even sell that funnel.
Yes, exactly. That would be provide a third-party marketplace. That, you know, that's a win-win for everybody. that would be a great marketing idea for either of these three players.
Absolutely. I'm going to make good money off it because I'm going to make some funnels and then start marketing those funnels, build one and sell for like very cheap, like $5 a funnel. It doesn't like, so that people don't think twice about buying it. Like, it's at $5.
You'd be able to buy a new jacket.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry.
No
we have Haroon is a connoisseur jacket and fashion, so I always have to take a certain English sarcastic aim at him. So sorry, I interrupted you, but that just comes to mind.
No worries. So yes, over here you've got all the LMS triggers that you'd be expecting, and in addition to what we saw with Groundhogg, there are also group-based triggers when user is added to a group or when user is removed from a group in the LMS. And let's see if FluentCRM has those group-based triggers. I don't think it does, but let's see. Okay, and then I'm going to discuss a huge drawback that I see in these systems compared to like that's another thing that Groundhogg does right and that these guys don't do right, that they can learn from Groundhogg and improve on. So let's just say we select this user enrolled into a course like we did with the others. They also have form triggers, Fluent form based, because we've got Fluent forms installed. But let's go with user enrolled in the course and continue. And over here, we can track conversions if we want, but let's just not get into that for now. So this is like one shortcoming. Start when user enrolls in a course. At this very step, we should be able to select which course the user enrolls in should trigger this. But they've got this start that any user enrolls in a course, start this automation. And then we have to add a conditional action in which we select a rule.
I really love this. This is really polished, this interface.
Yeah, the interface is very polished, but this is so redundant that we start off with user enrolls in a course. So anyone who enrolls in a course is brought into this funnel, this automation, and then we select the condition that course is this particular course. We should be able to select this condition at the very start, like when user enrolls into the marketing automation for beginners course. We select the course in the start.
Yeah, I see it. I see where you're coming from, but I don't see it as a major problem.
But it's another redundant step. This is one thing that I don't like. But the interface, you see, it's beautiful. You want to look at it and you want to work with it. It's gorgeous. They've got the design nailed. And then over here, if the condition is yes, now here's another limitation. If the condition is yes, we can add a list of actions, like let's say we want to add tag. Of influencer, let's say, and and then we can add another action. Let's say we want to send an email, but over here we cannot set further conditions at this stage. So if the course is marketing automation for beginners, then we can set a sequence of actions to be executed, but we cannot add further conditions within this sequence of actions.
Yeah.
Which is a limitation.
There's a problem with
For example, if we want to add a particular tag in case the user is an influencer and add a different tag if the user is a student, or like add a student tag if the user is not a subscriber and add an influencer tag if the user is a subscriber, any conditional over here. We can't do that. But the founder of FluentCRM. Sorry, of WooFunnels. What's the gentleman's name? He recently told me.
Well,
and
they
he-
they seem, all of their teams seem very responsive. And to be fair to them, it's a newish product, and
Yes, it is.
what
It
they've
is.
achieved is
Yes.
extremely impressive
yes.
in UX. I've got to be honest, and I don't care, I'm saying this in public. It's refreshing, you know, and also the Fluent team, Joel and his team,
Yes.
are pretty responsive as well. But this team
Yes.
have been very refreshing. Compared to Groundhog, it's night and day, because I've got to be truthful with you.
I agree.
The last thing that comes to my mind is being responsive when it comes to Groundhog. I'm sorry, it's just the reality that we're faced with them.
I agree. These guys, both the Fluent CRM team and this Autonami team, they have been more responsive, and they seem to be more welcoming of user input. And in fact, Autonami's founder, this gentleman Daman Jeet, he reached out to me without me reaching out to him, and he told me that he saw me talk about some of the limitations, and he sent me a preview of their upcoming version, in which he's addressing this limitation and improving things further. So yes, this is a limitation that is in the current stable version, but in the upcoming version, it's going to be addressed in one. I don't know when they're going to release it, whether in the immediately next upcoming version or one of the upcoming versions, but they are going to address it very soon. And I hope they're also going to address this part, that we should be able to start select the starting trigger at this, like the course at this very triggers.
Now, just to finish off, am I correct that they've got a linear interface as well, or is it, or just they have this which looks better and I think functions better than Fluent CRM, but you still got the problem where you can go berserk, or do they provide a kind of secondary method where it's a more linear setup than Groundhog?
Currently, it's like there's only one conditional at this stage, and then if the condition is yes, you cannot add more conditions. So it does restrict you, but then it also restricts you from performing different actions based on different conditions in this set of actions. But then over here, you can add another conditional.
I just love this interface. Yeah. I just love it.
Same here. Yeah. But over here, you can add another conditional, but then this conditional would only be added in case this previous condition is no. Then you can add another condition. If the previous condition is yes, you cannot add further conditionals at this stage. But this is something that they're going to address.
Just to finish off, was this all built in React then, do you reckon?
I'm not sure, but yes, it is in one of those high performance frameworks. I don't know if it's Vue or React, but yes, it is in one of those high performance frameworks. It's not a native PHP HTML.
This has been done in React, I would say.
Yes,
they've obviously got some very talented UX designers working as part of the team, because they've done. So just to end up, so you've been in discussion with the founder, some of the team members, what you've seen and what they've told you. Do you think that of the three we're looking at, they show the most promise?
Oh yes, definitely. In terms of what they've achieved, what they've built so far in such a short time, and how impressive the overall user experience is. If I get all the features that I need, then if I am to choose between the three, if I have to make a choice to stick with one among the three, hands down, because of the UX alone, I would choose Autonami any day. Oh, currently, I'd use Groundhog because all the features that I need, Groundhogg offers me, and the other two at this stage are not quite there yet in terms of all the control and all the features that I need. And another thing from Groundhogg that I like over here, you've built a funnel, you've built a really good funnel, and you want to replicate that funnel and only change the starting trigger. You can do that in Groundhogg. You make a copy of that funnel and you come in, you delete the starting trigger. For example, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I've deleted the starting benchmark, and now I'm going to add another benchmark. For example, I want to replicate this for
I can't stand looking at that interface, so I'm sorry, I'm an interface snob. And,
I understand, but this is important to showcase.
Yeah, go on.
So I wanna run the same sort of funnel for a user created trigger, that when a particular user with a role subscriber is created, the rest of the automation is same. Maybe I go in and select a different email. Maybe I go in and select a different tag. I don't have to create the whole thing from scratch. I can just change what I need, change the triggers that I need. With these two, once you've saved this funnel, you go back to automations and you open this one. And I'm gonna do the same with Fluent. So you open this one, and there is no way to switch this the starting trigger to something else once you've built the funnel. So once you select the starting trigger, you're stuck with it. In that funnel, you cannot change the starting trigger. So you cannot just make a copy of a very successful funnel, change the starting trigger to something else, and you know.
Are they? Is that something you brought up to their attention?
Not yet.
No.
But they're going to listen to this broadcast as well, and hopefully do something about it. Same goes with FluentCRM. See, the starting trigger that you define.
To be truthful, and I'm going to be totally honest here. Jill and his team, they're great, and he's a great founder. And obviously they've developed their Fluent support, which I've bought as well, and we're going to be using as our main support platform for WP-Tonic. I just sense that, and I might be totally wrong here, just sense that their focus on Fluent CRM has slowed down a little bit. Because they really charged in and they made a big impact, and rightly so, because you know they're a great WordPress coding shop because of Fluent Forms and how they entered the market. That, you know, Joel and his team really know what they're doing. I just sense that the charge had slowed down a little bit, and it needed to be pushed a little bit more. But that was just, that's just my personal feeling about it, because this is really important to WordPress and how it can be an effective platform. I think we're going to end it here, Haroon, and we'll be back next month with a couple video workshops. I think we'll probably do another dive into this a little bit further. We'll probably have version 2.
Yeah. Specifically for implementing Amazon SCS or SendGrid or services like that as the email sending service, and then setting up bounce report feedback forwarding from Amazon SCS or SendGrid, so that when SCS or SendGrid detects a bounce, it can update that contact in the CRM and mark it as bounced, so that no more emails are sent to the bounced contact.
Yeah. And I just want to say, if you've been watching this through if you need any advice from me or Haroon, just contact us through the WP-Tonic website. I'm always happy to have a free consultation with anybody. And then we'll see if we are a good fit and we can help you out. We'll be back